Hey there everybody, welcome back again to the channel. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope everyone's having a wonderful and blessed day out there. Today I want to talk to y'all about something I've been thinking about, which is something you hear a lot about, or maybe it's just me from my perception, I don't know, but awakening. I seem to hear so much about awakening. You hear spiritual awakening, and what does it mean? What exactly are we talking about when we talk about awakening? Well, let's just take a moment to pause and review some things that have happened in the world for the past 5 years, okay? And I mean, even long prior to that, likely, but certainly in the past 5 years, so many things have transpired, which has kind of jolted many of us awake. Now, we could view it from like a political perspective, but certainly the spiritual perspective is kind of the core of it there, I think. Now, as far as awakening on the political end of it, to me, that kind of means that, you know, those who say they have our best interest in mind, maybe they don't necessarily actually have our best interest in mind. Maybe there's some underlying motivations, be it money, power, control, whatever the thing is. I think that the individuals and institutions who claim to be doing all of these things for our safety or for our well-being, maybe on the surface that is the case, and anyone who doesn't dig a little bit deeper and peel that top layer back and try to figure out what are the motivations of these individuals and these institutions, well, it might just appear just that, okay, well, they do have my best interest in mind. But once we begin to awaken, then we can see through the facade. We can see that there are underlying ulterior motives, I guess you could say, that don't necessarily have our best interest in mind, but serve to, you know, to bolster the agenda of the people who are pulling the strings and so on and so forth. But that's just kind of the surface level, and again, the political end of it, which isn't really what I want to focus on here. What I want to focus on is the spiritual end of it, the spiritual awakening. Now, again, from my extremely limited perspective, again, being from the South and knowing how most individuals attend church all the time, regularly, and I'm not one of those individuals. I haven't been since I was young, and even then, I never was able to get out of it what some people claim to get out of going to church all the time. I certainly think there's value in finding connection with others, because we are all connected in and through Christ. But for me, in my experience anyway, going to church was not about that. And again, maybe it is just my perspective and my perception here, but it seems like those individuals who do go to church all the time, whenever they hear the term spiritual awakening or awakening in general, they think of it as like new age woo-woo or whatever. And I think that couldn't be further from the actual truth. In my opinion, spiritual awakening is an awakening, a realization of what's inside of us, which is the Spirit, which is Christ within us, who's trying to embody himself through us. And the problem with it is, I think many of us get in our own way so many times, and we're not able to let that Spirit live and breathe through us, because we have the way that we want things to be. We have our idea in our mind of how our lives should be, and that's what we're stuck with. That's all we're on, and we can't get past that. Now, there is a verse from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14, where it says, "Therefore I say unto you, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light." So to me, that means that we need to awaken to the truth within all of us. We need to awaken to the truth within ourselves. And the thing of it is, in order to do that, again, from my journey and my limited perspective, for me, in order to do that, I've had to awaken to a lot of the bad things that have happened in the past, a lot of the past trauma that I've had, and so on and so forth. So many people come to spiritual awakening through an integration, I guess you could say, of past trauma. Because it's like there's all of these horrible things that have happened in all of our lives. Nobody's immune. The world is an inherently traumatic place to live in, to be honest with you. You can't ever tell what to believe, who to believe. It seems like the story changes every single day. This person's wonderful right now, and then tomorrow they may be the enemy. You can't ever tell what to believe or who to believe. That's why it's so important to develop that inner compass, that inner guidance. That way we can test and approve what God's will is. And that kind of harkens back to some of Carl Jung's work as well on the shadow. All of these traumas that we've all experienced through our lives from childhood on, all the things that we've denied about ourselves, the times we were told, suck it up, rub some dirt on it, whatever, or the times we were told, you only shed tears, you only cry if you're weak, you shouldn't do that. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth, in my opinion. In order for us to address those things that are buried within us, because all of those things that we've never expressed, the things that we've denied about ourselves, well, they're buried within us. They're buried deep within the literal tissues within our body. And the longer we let it fester, and the longer that we let it go without shining the light of awareness on it and bringing it up to the surface through feeling these emotions that we've denied for our entire lives, and letting it come out in tears or in whatever other expressive form that works for us. The longer that we deny that, well, the more these traumas and this shadow is going to fester within us. And that is the main cause of suffering and disease and despair. And there's many other individuals, such as Dr. Joe Dispenza, who have done work on that as well. And again, kind of citing Carl Jung's work as well, who was kind of the godfather of talking about the shadow and so on. He's the one who coined that term, I believe. So again, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14 tells us that, again, it says, "Therefore I say unto you, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light." So, whenever we make the conscious choice to no longer just be driven by the surface level of desires and this and that, but to look within and to go deep within and to find out, what is it that's actually holding me back? What are these things about myself? What are these aspects about myself that I've been denying my entire life? When we do that, we've entered into the process of awakening. We're trying to shine our light of awareness on the things that we've suppressed within ourselves that are causing disease or despair. They're causing our lives to be unsavory in one area or another. So again, like I said, it may just be my limited perception, but it does appear as though a lot of the people who attend church regularly and, maybe they think of themselves as holier than thou. I don't know. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it is just me and my limited perception, because I do kind of have that skewed viewpoint of those who attend church all the time, because again, that's kind of how I was raised, and I was never able to find the spirit there. So maybe it is just me on this, but it does appear as though whenever they hear the term spiritual awakening and all this, they think of it like some kind of new age woo-woo, like I had said before. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Right there in the scripture, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14, they actually use the word awake. We should awaken to that which is within us. We should awaken to the things that we have buried within ourselves that have covered up the spirit, because that's the thing. Christ, the light, the spirit lives within us. But where you find that, where I found that, is underneath all of those things that were buried, underneath all of those things that I denied about myself my entire life. When I finally made the conscious choice to shine the light of awareness upon all of these things about myself, all these aspects of myself that I denied my entire life, when I finally did that and allowed it to bubble up, allowed it to express itself upwards and out through emotion, that is when Christ finally awoken through me, and the beautiful light and love that is Christ shone through me. So I encourage everyone to do that. Take a little time, meditate, pray about it, reflect on it, and ask yourself, what are the things about myself that I've been denying my whole life? What are the things that are keeping me trapped? What are the areas of my shadow that just seem so terrifying that I'm not going there, I'm not doing that, because it is terrifying. It's extremely terrifying. I mean, it's the most terrifying thing that I could possibly imagine. So it's not an easy thing to do. As a matter of fact, it's the most challenging thing you can ever do, in my opinion, but it's also the most worthwhile. It's the most rewarding whenever you make the intentional decision in order to tread down this this path. So again, I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes and share this with you, and I do think that there is a skewed perception in general by the general public anyway, as far as what awakening means. It is not just some new age thing. It is it's so much more than that, and it's so important that we do that in order to truly find the Spirit within. And until we do that, I think we're just going to be wishing and wanting, and our lives are just going to be turned in circles like they have our entire lives to this point. But when we make that conscious decision and we start working through some of these old repressed emotions and things of that nature, then we can see the Spirit truly come to life within us, and we start to see our lives change in so many different ways. The things that once served us no longer do, and certain areas of our lives start falling away. Relationships might fall away. All kinds of things that once brought us joy might not bring us any joy anymore, because we see it was just a surface level thing. That's not anything that's doing me any kind of good. So again, thank you all so much for being here, and I do hope that all of you take just a few minutes to kind of just ask yourself, what are the things that have been keeping me trapped my entire life, and what can I do about that? Well, what you can do about that is shine a light of awareness on those things within yourself that you've denied your entire life. And through that, and through the feeling, through expressing those emotions up and out, well, you'll find what lies beneath. And what lies beneath is the most beautiful thing you could ever imagine: Christ within each of us. So thank you all again so much for being here, and I look forward to talking to you soon. And if you like, leave a comment below, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.